All right, let's get going here. This took an extra few minutes for the long weekend. That was nice for a change, a little bit. Markets are kind of dead anyway, still dead for that matter. I think something's got to give here pretty soon. Just too darn flat and uptrend, but just whipping back and forth the last few days. Maybe people taking a long weekend, end of summer coming up. Who knows? Looking for some kind of I guess correction bar would make it a higher probability to the upside. It certainly could just break out, but I prefer not just a breakout out of some kind of whippy type of range like this. Thursday was kind of a down day. Many things doesn't really display here on the futures, but there were a lot of downward moves on Thursday, and then they recovered. So it was just pretty much a lot of slowing momentum last week. And you can see the weekly chart from the futures we're looking at here. Just back and forth, back and forth. And McGraw, he's telling us not much will happen. The Fed, maybe we're Fed until nothing much will happen. Oh, expiration on the 15th. Well, you know what? I could see where you're coming from with that, McGraw, but you've been doing this long enough to know that some politician could hiccup, some wacko over in Afghanistan could decide to do something. And, I hear what you're saying. We look at the certain things that we look at, and that leads us to some bias, of course. And I don't get too stuck on things that say this can't happen or that can't happen or this will happen. But, as I wrote in the letter a couple of weeks ago, I said the markets will absolutely go up with a disclaimer. And they did go up. They just didn't go up very much. But things are just flat here. And going into the 15th, you say, how many more days? Another week of running in place, doing nothing. We may as well just go home. But, these credit spreads on SPX, I don't know how you're feeling about them. Maybe, I could see this kind of drawing in a lull of being comfortable with this lack of movement. I know you do. But with these points of contracting ranges and volatility is coming a expansion. And, things are getting kind of tight. And so, 45.60 has some premium. You want to sell that in an uptrend where things could hit that, heartbeat. I'm not comfortable with it. The downside, which seems somewhat of a no-brainer, you can go down to 44.95 for a little bit, and you got 4,500 as a big level there. So, I think you got to see which way things start to move. And looking at the S&Ps here, they're not moving. Right? They're basically they're flat. So a little time to see which way the wind's going to blow here as we start this shortened week. Let's see, NQs doing absolutely nothing. Actually broke out here a little bit, and typical, up there, poke above the highs. They came back in, not doing any significant damage whatsoever, just a trading range. And so we'll just drag this up here under those pivot lows. And so maybe we go down to test that. And maybe that, just taking that thought process to the S&Ps, those pivot lows are a little further away, but maybe coming down here where all the buyers are, then go and looking at what the premium is at that 44.95 on SPX might make it a little bit more attractive. The Russell, it's getting pretty darn close to that top area there. And it was rejected there last week. Not a good odds setup here either. Got to respect the wide range bar and retest. It's certainly come up here, but this is where we preferred to have some completed corrective type of a bar. Something, well, not quite like this, maybe a little bit lower here, and it comes right back up again. And that would give me a bias because of the uptrend that it could get through this high. And, the Dow just back to being a mess, dipped down to the 50, back up, couldn't hit the highs here. I mean, just look at that hourly trading range. So does it continue? Well, we assume it does until it doesn't. So if it comes down here into this area, there's a scalper intraday trade, you could buy it. Looking at the S&Ps similarly, there'll be buyers down here. They'll be there. And then we just wait and see. Does it momentum slow? But we don't have any great voids. So the expectations, just have to be kept in place as to nothing of real significance is set to happen here until we actually see something breaks out of this range here. Where is where's the link to weekly options and swing trades? Well, in the member area, JR. So you log into the member area and just click on advisory swing and options trader. Or if you have the weekly options trader, click on the link to that. And if you have a subscription to it and you don't have access to it, email support@mastertrader.com. Right. Bitcoin's moving up here a little bit. ETH, where is it? 36, 35. Gapping down. Why not say up? That's yesterday, 36, 35. Anyway, it looks like it's going to go higher. That weekly bar. And down here a little bit. There'll be buyers on dips somewhere in here. Bitcoin backing off after getting through the highs. So no pullback here as it got up to this minor resistance. Right. Little bull flag and push up again, and now backing off from there. Still looks good. Destination's up in this area there at 56 or so. And maybe it goes to 60,000. It's got to break the trend on the daily time frame before we can assume it won't get up here. Oil down a little bit. Little breakout bar failure going on there. Little consolidation, and this is right in the textbook. Little consolidation, expansion range, minor topping tail, inside bar breaks the low. Get out of the way if you're long. Now, the weekly still looks powerful with that big bar, but it could come down under here and still be okay and just wiggling around. So if you're trading from this time frame and you see a failure pattern, you get out of the way. You don't switch, especially if your money management is linked here. And you say, oh, well, this will be okay. That's how traders in this time frame get wiped out, switching time frames. You can get your bias from here and enter. But when you get a failure pattern, it's time to step aside and reevaluate, or at least reduce position size. And gold down here. Same kind of little breakout failure going on there. It's different. This doesn't have the inside bar, it's just reversing down, but the day's not over. Silver playing a little catch up in a downtrend there. And, what are interest rates doing here? Moving up, which up to where? Right? I look at a miner, I say, oh, that's up. Up to where? Up into resistance. Right? 100% retracement. That's good. They're bottoming out, and that should help financials. Looking at, let's just look at one that got pounded. 44.34. Not really doing much of anything. One that's been doing well and holding there. And BAC's got a, if I can type correctly. So XLF has this little buy setup, and I just showed you on BAC where XLF, the financials, had a down week last week, but they've pulled back to where they should try and turn, and I see interest rates up a little bit. So you can see this is reacting where it's up a little bit there. Regionals, KBE, a little messier. And so let's see if they can hold this area and what they do for a little while here. So I'm not so sure, but that should help them. And the 30-year, that's up there a little bit. So all looking good. 5 years moving up. So the reason I'm looking at the 5 years to make sure that's moving up too. Not for some reason that could possibly be moving down, where we could get a contraction in the yield curve, and that would not be good for financials. All right, so we don't get much data here or any data with the transports. So the markets are flat in uptrends. For them to continue, and there's some pretty decent size open interest to the next expiration, all the way up to 4,600 in SPX. What we want to see, we don't want to just look at one piece of information. Sure, those option traders, institutions are betting this market's going to go up. And they thought it was going to go up the last expiration, and it didn't. So they shifted to the next. So what we want to see, right, they can be wrong. They can be dead wrong. What we want to see is our intermarket analysis join in. And so we want to see these transports turn around here, this bottoming process, really confirm what's happening here, not break lower. See the rising 200 here and the declining 50 and the 20 here. There's converging here. Volatility is contracting. Ranges are contracting. Something's going to break soon. Maybe the next expiration, we'll see. But what we want to see is this start to move up, as well as those interest rates start to move up. Internals are on this page. Yeah. So typically, historically, I would say they're bearish, but not in this market. Why? Because this level of 0.80, which historically is an extreme, has not been extreme enough for this market. Breadth improved over the last week. That's a positive. You've got more of what I've said, the junk joining the party. So we want to see, I wouldn't call FedEx junk, but we want to see stocks like FedEx going up. We want to see the airlines start moving up. We want to see the cruise lines start moving up, the recovery trades or whatever they call them. So there has been an improvement in breadth, and that's a positive. Where option traders were starting to get more bearish, and that was a good thing that they were. And the dip, as they got more bearish and it came into the lower bands, traders come in and bought the typical dip, and they didn't quite hit the 50. But they got darn close. You could see 50, 50, 50, 50. So now, should we get that breakout, what we'll be looking at and reporting as to whether, we start seeing breadth really kick in and come up to an extreme, and the option traders kick in and push this up into these upper bands. And then we could say sentiment is confirming a bearish bias, where then we look for a turning point to occur. So right now, I guess we just say it's slow and steady, and continued summer doldrums until something happens. Robert saying, being able to read internals with the wisdom and impression worth every penny of the green room and MTS education. Thank you, Robert. Thank you. Hey, let me just a little, I guess, point of encouragement to those that are struggling with the markets and reading this stuff. It doesn't come easy. It's like anything else that you're going to do. You go to school for whatever it might be, and you come out with this knowledge. And even though you got an A+ in class, you get in there in the real world and it's like, oh shit, this is the real world. What do I do? Let me go look at the book. So that's the way it is. And through repetition of hearing things and then doing it on your own and keeping journals and all of that, that's how it starts to become second nature. So I'm never going to tell anybody it's easy. It just takes some time. It's not that it's hard. What makes it hard is that we all press the envelope by trying to do too much and risk too much of our money before we've had some experience. But that's human nature in the markets. All yours, Dan. Yeah, I wanted it all now too when I started, Robert. So I was all over the place. Elliott wave, GANs, moons, full moons. Oh, and then when you come back to the reality of basics and the light bulbs go on.
All right, good morning. Nice long weekend. All our opens are fine here, so if you have any questions, just ask. Well, we got a positive gapper here, Mitch. We did a put spread on Thursday with this gap breakout range expansion bar, and it's being added to the S&P 500. So I said, let's bid 2 cents to get out. Move stop 30-minute low. TWOW, we're long stock. I see one print up here, 37.94. If so, then I'll be moving the stop on that. Archon here, busting a move, pre-market 344. So that looks really good. Let's watch that 5, 10, 15-minute high. I'll put that in that little window. Boeing bottom right. Thursday, topping tail. So ask yourself, what did that bar look like at the day's high? It was a wide range breakout. And then it closed with a topping tail. Friday, lower low, lower high. Breakdown, bear 1, 2, 3 on the weekly. There were 2 separate bearish mentions in the Wall Street Journal today. One was they have to push back the production of the 737 MAX, and secondly, Reinhard Air, which said was the biggest customer outside the U.S., canceled a contract. So the bad news is supporting the setup. So I like that. We had J&J as a long in the weekend letter over Friday's high. Nice buy setup, continuation bar. And McGraw texted me saying, oh, we've got a downgrade. And McGraw, I don't know if you're listening or understood what I said. My response was good. And does everybody know why I said that? We don't have time to let you answer, but the reason, well, no, it's not up. It is gapping down. No, so you're close, but no cigar. If it then triggers with the bad news baked in, then it'll be another plus to the setup. It's like this thing ain't, the pattern triggered and ain't going down on a Goldman downgrade. Right, if it triggers, but that's why I said good. It's another plus if it triggers. We're not in it. I think I heard Goldman and even Morgan we're downgrading the growth estimates, and that could be part of the little weakness here this morning. Boeing, we talked about. MTL, wow, that's a crazy gapper. Look at that igniting breakout on the monthly. We talk about trading bottoming patterns and intelligently doing them. This actually was a good entry, but you had a nice gain. But that's a great monthly bottom right there. I'm talking about monthly bottoms. Check out, I posted, make sure we talked about pen. I know the daily's extended, but look at this weekly, monthly. Look at that. 1, 2, 3 on the weekly. A buy setup on the monthly. That is beautiful for long-term entry. We just need an entry on the daily. And the problem is because of the momentum move, you would need a monster stock. MV, couple stocks here gapping over their entries. But that looks great for a core trade. This MVST is a bottoming pattern. Ford, we had as a short, it's gapping under the entry. Apple is still a beast. That is all-time highs, bullish consolidation. Colgate sell setup. Netflix. This always cracks me up when somebody comes out and gives you an upgrade after you rallied from here to here, far from the 20. So I don't know, some dude came out and gave us an upgrade to like, I don't know, 680, 780. Who the heck cares? Eli, a golf retest. I would need a potent turn to trust this retest because that's still kind of ugly there. BABA, something's going on with these China stocks again. ADAP, 6 gaps too big. So EDU, TAL, these were potential bottoming patterns. And I thought the news was negative in the journal. I didn't read it. I don't like this one as much. TAL. EDU is better because I have this little downside shakeout and it's above the 20. Let's keep an eye on EDU. RB's asking about EWI. It's a gapper, so it's an ETF. It's an iShares ETF, country ETF. It's messy. I don't like gappers like this. I don't like ADRs for this very reason, but over last week's high is okay. Thomas is asking about gold. No, not with the gap down, Thomas. It needs to repair itself. NVIDIA, Mara. NVIDIA is a beast. Just keep an eye on the broader market and the sector. That's what I would do there. SMHs over Friday's high. Actually, SMHs I like a little better than NVIDIA, the pattern. That's a nice pattern right there. And it's gapping down just a little bit. So if it can get over Friday's high, I like SMHs a lot. So 1, 2, 3 on the weekly. Mara we're actually in trail mode on Mara. We've been in it since this wide range igniting. So no, I have zero interest in far from the 20, 2 red bars, topping tails. No, we're in trail mode. Our target was 45, our first target. So we nailed half out. Riot. No, well, Riot looks like a bear call credit spread to me over Thursday's high. It had an upside shakeout and it broke down. Your question's not asking me what your bias is, Chad, but that's my analysis of the daily. Jacopo, XONE. It's gapping down. Otherwise, I like the weekly a lot. The weekly's a 1, 2, 3, but it's gapping down. So set an alarm at 25.20 if it can recover. Then I like it over Friday's high. Pergo breakout, it's a bottoming pattern for short-term trade. Over Friday's high is okay. Oh, I think Pergo might have been added to the exchange also, which is why. And Whiskey got kicked out of I think the S&P 400. So I looked at it thinking it would be down, and it's up. So I don't know. I don't know what to do with Whiskey. The dash alarm just went off. Disney, the only reason I was looking at it, they had a movie out, and you know, when you have a big box office, I just want to see what it does. Dunking also, you know, since Penn looks great, people are talking about betting. This looks great. Let's watch 5, 10, 15-minute high. That looks great. The old dunking looks great. Let's keep an eye on it. Press. That's a bullish gap, 30-minute. You know, the bigger the gap, I like to wait 30 minutes more. But Rich, 30-minute high or some type of bullish retracement. I'll put that in a window also with you. K-Web, yeah, let's look at that. Okay, yeah, K-Web looks higher. You just decide how you want to get on board. Look at Boeing, bottom right. That looks great as a short. And net, we're in net is ripping. We're in that long. My up alarm went off. Boeing looks great. I just hate trading at 9:31. You know, I usually say Monday, but this is our Monday with a day off. Myrna, wow, I've got a lot of alarms going off here.